Welcome, welcome. Now, I know that most of the people I'm friends with are not in Australia, and so they're not familiar with the absurdity that is a current affair. As you can see in the bottom left, the TV show is called Current Affair. It's a half an hour news journalist. I use that term journalist very loosely. It's been around for about 25 years, and it just keeps getting worse by the day. They try to be what 60 Minutes used to be 30 years ago, but even 60 Minutes these days is just a shit pile of fuckery. It's just bullshit. And unfortunately, our news media has gone so downhill that they're just reporting on bullshit. And a current affair is the pinnacle of bullshit when it comes to. In fact, it's the source of humor for a lot of people. A lot of people watch it ironically as opposed to being informed. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there who do watch this show to be informed, and they're what we would call dumb cunts. But unfortunately, there's so many dumb cunts in this country and other countries around the world that shows like this still get good ratings, and it's unfortunate for the rest of us that they do. So I'll start the video very soon, but I'll just give you a quick warning. The woman on the screen you're seeing right now is a I put in quotes, journalist called Tracy Grimshaw. And you might think, why is such an old person who is not attractive to some people, I'm not saying she's ugly, I'm just saying that news channels, they like to put on young, attractive people, whether they be guys or girls, to, I don't know, just make the screen look pretty. Some of them are dumb, and so I'd rather a more seasoned journalist be on the screen as opposed to their looks, because I'm listening and watching for the journalism aspect, investigative journalism aspect, as opposed to watching some pretty girl talk about bullshit on the screen, which adds nothing to anyone's lives. But Tracy Grimshaw, as you can see here, she's obviously middle-aged and she's starting to sag a bit, and that's fine. But she's been on a current affair for so long that no other news media would take her serious. And so that's why she's there. Anyway, let's start. I'll preface this by saying that I've only watched the first 2 minutes of this. And that was enough for me to think, you know what, I need to air my opinions on the bullshittery that I'm hearing and the dumbasses that I'm seeing. So that's including Tracy Grimshaw. But let's start. Let's see how this turns out. This story is about cryptocurrency. As you can see in the top left-hand corner, there's a lot of scammers out there with crypto. Crypto is not necessarily bad, but there are a lot of people taking advantage of other people who are stupid by inventing new coins, as they say, to take advantage of dumbasses. And you might think, well, crypto sounds like a scam. It's not necessarily a scam. There are some well-established cryptocurrencies out there, including Bitcoin and Ethereum. Sorry, I've got hiccups now for some reason. Including Bitcoin and Ethereum. And as much as you might read in the media that they are unstable currencies, they actually are quite stable. When you look at the history of graphs over the past 10 years, they are actually quite stable. However, when you get a new cryptocurrency that someone is spruiking, there's always an opportunity for that person to rip you off. Why? Because they're taking advantage of scamming money out of you, as they do with any other currency, with any other format of money in general or currency in general. The scammers will find a way to scam you out of it. And one of the reasons is one of the ways of doing that is taking advantage of the new cryptocurrency, get-rich-quick scheme type attitude that a lot of people have. Cryptocurrency is not designed to get rich quick tomorrow. Okay, remember that. Cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin and Ethereum, are designed to be long-term investment type, currency spending type activities. And I've been studying cryptocurrency since Bitcoin came out. It came out in 2009, but I've been studying it since early 2010. So that's nearly that's over 12 years, and I've seen the ups and downs. I've seen all the news articles. I know what's bullshit and what's not, and I'm not saying invest in anything. What I'm saying is I know what I'm fucking talking about. I've seen it come, I've seen it go, I've seen all these new things come and go. But the stable ones are the ones that will last for a very long time. But let's move on, because this is a new one. This is a new one called Barter Coin, right? Now, you're going to be astounded, because in the next 2 minutes, in the first 2 minutes, you're going to understand what I'm about to say.
Robert Tidy loves the high life. First-class flights, luxury hotels and designer watches. But behind his flashy facade is a trail of burnt investors. These families trusted Mr. Tidy with their money. Now it's all pretty messy.
How would you describe Robert Tidy?
Oh,
Okay, immediately I just noticed that I just rewound it for 5 seconds. If you notice, when I press play again, the interviewer, I wouldn't call him a journalist because he's on a current affair, but the interviewer asks the interviewee the question. But what I want you to pay attention to is not only the answers and the question and the answer. What I want to pay you attention to, or what I want you to pay attention to, is the fact that the interviewer is wearing a black jacket, just like Tracy Grimshaw, but in men's style, with a blue and white checkered shirt. Now, it's not the same style as the interviewee is wearing, but I'm thinking that they maybe shopped at the same store, or the interviewee has rocked up to the studio to film his little interview here of being a dumbass, and they've gone, oh, you can't wear that shirt on TV because it has a logo on it, like Nike or Reebok or whatever. So look, here's some clothes from the interviewers. You're about the same stature, so yeah, these should fit you. Look at their clothes. Watch, they're basically wearing the same thing, but in slightly different ways.
It's all pretty messy.
How would you describe Robert Tidy?
I would describe Robert Tidy as someone that is very manipulative, sly, insincere.
Dude, what is up with those glasses, man? And I mean, that watch is just obnoxious. Look, I know you probably got heaps of money or some shit, but let's be humble. You know what I'm saying? Like, you seriously, you had someone take a fucking picture of you with those glasses on. The watch I can excuse. Some people are just over the top. But let's be honest, you can have as many diamonds as your watch as you want, but if it looks good, it looks good, and that does not look good. That is just obnoxious. Don't get me started on the glasses again. I'm already angry enough as it is.
Just has a way of talking to people and convincing them.
Oh, right, so he's your typical scammer. Okay. Yeah, well, I hope you learned your lesson.
Why have you decided to speak out about Robert Tidy?
Because he needs to be stopped.
You're living a life of luxury. When are you going to get these investors their money back?
Look, I'm not a bad person, and if I was, I'd be in jail.
Yeah, well, you're not in jail yet because they haven't got enough to convict you. But let's be honest, I can already guess how this ends, and eventually you are going to end up in jail. But that's a shit excuse, Rob. You could come up with something better than that. Come on.
Before he died, Colin Tidy was one of Australia's biggest bookmakers.
Our cameras were watching Cole as he sweated.
Even invite...
I'm going to rewind that for 5 seconds. But if you tell me that you need to invest in something because it's going to make you heaps of money, because the person that's running it is an ex-bookmaker at the horse races, I'm going to tell you, don't be a fuckwit, go away. And the reason is because it's a simple rule of gambling. Do you think casinos build casinos just because, hey, we want people to have fun? No, they build casinos because they know the odds are in their favour and they will get more money than you will get. You might walk away one night, yeah, I won $2,000. That's good. How much did you put in, mate? How much did the house make? And it's the same with bookies. Do you think bookies stand by the racetrack taking bets next to the racetrack thinking, oh fuck, I really hope I win tonight? No, because they know you're all suckers and there's more losers than there are winners. And so they're willing to give you that $2,000 for winning on that horse because they've just taken 100,000 grand from all the other people who bet on horses that didn't win. That's why bookies do what they do, because the odds are in their favor. If you invest anything from anybody who has anything to do with bookies or casinos, you're a fucking idiot. Unless you're investing in the actual casino, which is rare. But if a casino operator comes up to you and goes, hey, I've got an awesome investment, you should invest in this company, walk away, because that person only wants your money. They're not in it for them to earn you money. They're in it for them to earn themselves money. This is basic common sense. And this is why I'm saying A Current Affair is a stupid fucking show that purports to be news media when it's not. It only preys on the fucking stupid. So let's hear what the stupid have to say next.
Biggest bookmakers,
Our cameras were watching Cole as he sweated.
even inviting A Current Affair into his home for a State of Origin game where he'd laid what was then the biggest bet in Australian sport history.
Confidence lost is everything.
Plays the ball, Timmins takes the one.
His only son, Robert Tidy, also made a few headlines as a teenager.
The 16-year-old punter blitzed the bookies.
A big win at the track as a teen, prompting a scolding from his dad.
I'm going to rewind that because I did actually read, like I said, I only watched the first 2 minutes of this video, but I did actually pause it before to read that article.
Tidy also made a few...
So pause it here if you actually want to read the article, but it's very, very suspicious that this schoolboy, who's the son of a bookie who knows the horses, he turned his $5 lunch money into 170 grand. And then his dad turns around and goes, you shouldn't have done that. You're underage. You shouldn't be gambling. Now, I don't know how old this article is, but it's quite old. Even with the yellow paper, I can still tell it's quite old because we haven't had newspapers like that in a long time in Australia. But he's parlayed his money. So basically he's bet on a horse and it's won, and then he's used that winnings to keep winning. And if you lose, well then you lose it all, right? But he kept winning up to the tune of 170 grand, which is probably around about maybe 120 grand American money. And this is also probably about 40 years old, this newspaper, I'd bet. So obviously back then in the 1980s, 120 grand in America is a fuck ton of money. It could buy you a house 3 times over, I'm sure. But what I'm saying is, I bet that his father had something to do with him knowing which horses were going to win or not. So if anything, what I think has happened is, with our laws, when it comes to gambling on horses, I'm pretty certain, and someone can look this up if they want, and I'll happily agree that I was wrong, but we've had gambling laws in Australia for many fucking years, and I wouldn't be surprised if he told his kid which horses to bet on, because he was a bookie at the time, and legally he wasn't allowed to bet on horses. It's a bit like insider trading when it comes to investment opportunities when you're an executive in a big company and you know that tomorrow the stock price is going to go down, and so therefore you sell because you know that you're going to lose your investment. So you sell before that happens, and then it goes down the next day, and then you have saved your money from being pummeled down into the, when it comes to stock prices. So that's what insider trading basically means. And I wouldn't be surprised if Robert Tidy told his son to bet on these horses because it's a form of insider trading, and he didn't want to get busted because of it, because he's a bookie. But let's move on. There's so many things fucking wrong with this, and what are we in? 1 minute 16
New
in.
headlines as a teenager.
The 16-year-old punter blitzed the bookies.
A big win at the track as a teen, prompting a scolding from his dad.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he got a fucking scolding. Yeah, in front of the cameras. See, behind the cameras though, oh fucking good job, son. Give me 20%.
He shouldn't be betting, he is underage.
Now aged 50, Robert Tidy's luck is running out after a series of failed investment opportunities that have left investors millions of dollars out of pocket.
He's got no heart. And I feel like an idiot, but
He's got no heart. He's a bookie. Do you think he gives a shit about people losing money? As long as he's gaining money, he doesn't give a fuck about you or your money. You should have known that before you signed up to his fucking scam.
I just can't let him do this to anyone else.
Yeah. How are you going to stop it?
For a bloke named Tidy, you seem to leave people's finances in a hell of a mess.
Look, at the end of the day, no, I don't.
If you looked at Rob Tidy's social media accounts, you might think,
Dude, what's with the shoes, man? Like,
the end of the
God,
day-
he uses Instagram as well.
No, I don't.
if you
How old are you?
looked at Rob Tidy's social
Look at those shoes. What the fuck? I mean, what does that even mean? Oh, yeah, I've got sort of spiky shoes. Just in case I need to kick someone in the head with soft plastic or rubber. Yeah.
media accounts, you might think he's a billionaire. First class flop.
See the obnoxious watch I'm talking about? Man, you can have so many diamonds on a fucking watch and it doesn't matter, but that is just ugly as fuck. Like, how do you even tell the time? There's so many fucking points on the dial that you're like, wait, which one's the minute hand and which one's the hour hand? This is bullshit. I should trade this watch in for something more practical.
Flights, designer watches, 5-star hotels, and caviar for dinner. In reality,
Okay, so he's posting this shit on his Instagram, and I can only assume that he's posting this shit on his Instagram so he can convince other followers like, oh, you should invest in me because look what I do. I earn heaps of money by scamming people. But let's be honest, I'm not scamming people. Michelada love. Michelada mix. So what's that? Sort of like a fucking Bloody Mary type mix or some shit. I'm sure that bottle costs about fucking $5 in the shop. Don't know why you're showing that off. And you're shirtless in the kitchen, mate. I hope you're not cooking bacon, because trust me, that shit hurts. I have got scars from cooking bacon with no top on. It's got a gallon of milk there. There looks to be about one and a half gallons left in it. You better put that back in the fridge, bro, before it starts going bad. But let's be honest, you earn billions of dollars every year from scamming people, so you can afford more gallons of milk. It looks like he's got a couple of pizza boxes there too. I mean, it looks like he's cooking, but every now and then you need a night off, don't you? That marble bench top though, that looks like the marble bench top that we had in the last unit that we were in. I didn't mind it. But anyway, let's move on.
he's been bankrupt multiple times, held up at gunpoint on several occasions over money, and none of the digital business concepts he's been spruiking in the past decade have ever taken off.
What would your father think of what you're doing to the family name?
Look, there's nothing, I've done nothing, but you speak to all of my current
Multiple
coin holders.
bankruptcies, all
Hold
these
on a
broken
second.
investments.
Hold on a second. Multiple bankruptcy, I was annulled.
Alright. This is like saying, oh yeah, I got accused of touching a kid, but, you know, he got thrown out of court because they didn't have evidence. It's like, yeah, but you realise most people go through their lives without ever being accused of being bankrupt or touching a child. Like, the fact that you've been accused multiple times shows that there's probably some truth to that, and your lawyers are just really good and know how to get you out of those situations. So don't fucking bullshit me, bro.
More on his bankruptcies in a moment, but first, Barter Coin. Robert Tidy was the founder of Barter Coin. Here he is at the launch of this proposed new cryptocurrency in Trinidad for...
Oh my god. You launched it in Trinidad. Why? Why? Like, of all the fucking countries in the world that have money, you launched it in Trinidad.
4 years ago. Tanya Pickering was one of the Barter Coin investors who says part of the sales pitch was that it was backed by the government of Trinidad.
Tanya, I don't want to insult you, but I have to. You're a fucking dumbass. When have you ever heard of the government of Trinidad doing anything significant? And I'm not saying they're shit. I'm not saying they're shit at all. What I'm saying is there's certain countries in the world that are very normal, you know? You're talking about things like places like Switzerland, Trinidad, all these other countries who they just live their daily lives and do normal things. They don't try to fight, you know, army against army about another country. They don't try and take over other countries because this is our land. They just live and let live. That's what they do. And they're happy doing that. And so one of the last countries I would be convinced to adopt a new cryptocurrency would be Trinidad. And you might say, well, what about El Salvador? They adopted Bitcoin. Yes, because they were in an economic crisis and they were sick to death of being reliant on the US dollar. But they weren't established enough to create their own currency, so they adopted Bitcoin. Now Trinidad though, what purpose would it serve for them to adopt this new fucking coin that no one's ever heard of? And see, this is the red flag that Tanya should have fucking thought of, but she didn't because she's an idiot.
I just felt, well, if it's government backed, can't go wrong.
Okay, so you read that it's government backed by the government of Trinidad, and you thought, yeah. See, and this is why people have that the internet's been, the World Wide Web's been around since 1992, 1991 maybe, if you're an early adopter. But there's been a long time saying on the internet, which is don't believe everything you read. Now, see, Tanya falls into the trap of just reading something and just pretending that it's true. And that's what a lot of Facebook users do too. They read something and think that it's gospel, and then they keep repeating it. And the repetition of misinformation sucks other people in. And then next thing you know, we've got a circle of idiots all patting each other on the back. Or when shit finally hits the fan, they console each other like, oh, I didn't know. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you didn't know. Because you're a fucking moron who can't pick the red flags when it comes to someone's bullshit. Right, let's start again.
You know, it would have to be a legit business for them to be
sure.
backed by the government.
Turns out it wasn't backed by the government of Trinidad and Tobago, which eventually put out this public warning.
The Ministry of Finance advises the public that it is not associated with, nor has it endorsed, a barter coin exchange. The ongoing offerings are unregulated and speculative investments with considerable risk to the investor.
That warning was too late for people in Australia who had already invested close to $5 million.
Yeah. $5 million. I want to know the number of investors so I can gain an average of how much money they put in. And also I want to know how much money the main investor put in, because they're king of the retards. They're all retards, all these investors. They like to think it's a get-rich-quick scheme. And unfortunately, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a get-rich-quick scam, okay? And that's not all, like I said, that's not all crypto. Because you shouldn't be investing in crypto hoping to be rich tomorrow. You should be investing in crypto hoping that your investment leaves your investment establishes more of a dominance, and you can eventually go to any shop you want and either pay in money, pay with your card, your bank card, or pay with crypto if you choose to do so. You shouldn't be investing in crypto thinking you're going to be rich by tomorrow, next week, next year, or in the next 10 years. That's not why it was invested. However, there's a lot of people out there, like this fuckwit, not this fuckwit on the screen, but this Robert Tidy. There's a lot of fuckwits out there who, when it comes to money in general, in any form of currency, they will find a way to rip you off. And this is just the newest scam. That's all it is.
Before Barter Coin's planned launch, Robert Tidy flew here to Perth, booking out an entire suite at the Hilton Hotel, where he delivered a targeted sales pitch to small groups of potential investors. Tanya Pickering was one investor being wined and dined on the Barter Coin.
Okay, so they've taken you out for a nice steak dinner and some nice wine because they know that you'll think, oh wow, shit, these blokes must have heaps of money and I want heaps of money, so maybe I should invest. And so tomorrow or next week, I'll have heaps of money too. Yeah, that's how society works, Tanya. Fuck me dead.
Coin sales tour. How much cash was being splashed around at that meeting?
One guy had walked in and had a big brick of money, $50 notes, a pile, just casually giving it to Rob and saying, oh, we've got another investor. And I was just thinking, wow.
Shit.
So in his little seminar, is what you would call it, to try and convince members to invest money, you've gotten a random guy, and I use the word random very liberally, you've gotten a random guy who's walked in with a pile of cash and given it to him and said, I want to invest. Now, maybe you should look into who that guy is and what relationship he has with Rob Tidy, because let's be honest, who walks around with a fucking stack of cash when you're talking about digital currency? Why wouldn't you contact Rob and say, hey, I want an investment in your business. I will digitally send you the money from my bank account online. But no, this guy, he walks in to a crowded theatre room with a stack of cash, probably totaling like 50 grand or 100 grand, and hands it over to Rob. Now, that doesn't sound very secure, does it? You fucking muppet. Tanya is the sort of people who get targeted by people like Rob Tidy because they're fucking morons.
He says members of his entourage told her Rob Tidy was a billionaire, sparking...
Yeah, I need proof before I believe you're a billionaire, Rob. You can come up to me in the pub and talk about how much you earn and how much you... Unless you prove it, you can go and get fucked, mate. I don't believe a word you fucking say unless you prove it.
These excited social media...
Oh, God. Now she's spruiking her fucking bullshit that she believes to her other friends on Instagram. I fucking hate Instagram. I hate TikTok. Oh, I hate all that shit. But now what you're doing is you're polarizing yourself to your friends and your family, because your friends and your family most of the time are going to read your Instagram posts and go, she's fucking fell for this trick, damn. And she's trying to convince other people that she's going to become a billionaire tomorrow too. Sorry, hiccups again.
Media posts.
Having the opportunity to meet a genuine down-to-earth billionaire and get amazing advice.
Alex Dunbar was another investor who says West Indian cricketers Chris Gayle and Brian Lara were touted as Barter Coin ambassadors.
I thought that it...
Alright, I'll rewind that 5 seconds. So what, he takes a couple of pictures with his thumbs up too. It's like, if you're really friends with Brian Lara and the other West Indies cricket team, you wouldn't be giving the thumbs up. You'd just be sitting there going, yeah, these are my mates, mate. These are the investors. It's all good. If anything, if Brian Lara is a fucking investor, he's the one that should be given the thumbs up. Little Bobby fucking, Bobby Tidy here, the white guy with the bald head, he should be the one sitting back going, yeah, I know what I'm doing, son. No. but he's taking selfies with cricket teams going, oh yeah, and they don't even know that they're being used to tout his latest scam. And that's the worst bit. Brian Lara and the other West Indies cricketer don't even realise their photos are being used for scamming, which is unfortunate for them.
Chris Gale and Brian Lara were touted as Barter Coin ambassadors.
I thought that it was really genuine. He had 3 or 4 other staff that he'd flown over with him to assist with any questions and help out during the presentation.
How much pressure is involved in his sales pitch?
Oh, it's a lot of pressure, and it's what, really in your face. It's high pressure, buy now, do now, and you kind of almost feel bullied into the transaction.
Right, so your typical scam, and this sort of reminds me of, and look, I don't want to shit on people like Anthony Robbins because, look, they might help people in some way, but people like Anthony Robbins who are motivational speakers, they talk about how much you can earn, how much money you can make if you just change your attitude and all that. The problem is, it's a multifaceted argument, and the problem with that is, they know, people like Anthony Robbins know that the majority of people that pay $300 each for their seminar to come and watch them talk and how to be a better person and how to make millions and all that sort of bullshit, they know that the majority of people will not change their ways and follow their advice, because changing your ways as a personality is very fucking hard to do. You have to have a major life event that really changes your perspective, and therefore you change the way that you handle things, you change your personality, you start maybe become kinder with other people where you might have been angry with everyone else before. But the thing is, they know that most of those people in their audience who are paying $300 per seminar are not going to change their ways. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to people like Anthony Robbins, because you've already paid your money, and you're going to walk out here with a very eager attitude. You're going to walk out with a very positive attitude, and you're going to like this guy because he taught you things that you should change. But at the end of the day, you're not going to change them. And let's be honest, think about and relate this to yourself. Ask yourself this question. Every New Year's Eve, a lot of people, they say to themselves like, right, this is my New Year's resolution. I'm going to do this and I'm going to change that. But let's be honest, how often does that actually work out? And so what I'm saying is, people like Anthony Robbins and other motivational speakers, they might have a small percentage of people that have that life-changing event in their mind, and they do change their lives. But let's be honest, 99% of those people are not going to take that advice to heart and actually change their way of doing things. And so basically what these motivational speakers are doing is applying pressure, like they said Rob Tidy does. Like, you got to invest now, you got to do things now, you got to act now, because they want the quick money, And so it's just another form of the personality scam, and you're preying on people's mindsets who are weak. You're preying on the weak mindsets of people that have had bad opportunities, not bad opportunities, but they've had bad experiences in life, and they need that thing that pulls them out of that depression, those bad experiences. And so therefore there's this person standing up there being really confident and telling you how you can be better, you can do things, you can be an improvement on your own life and other people's lives. And then you get those other people like Rob Tidy who are like, yes, if you invest now, you will be a billionaire just like me. I've got a guy that just came up to me and gave me a stack of cash. That's how productive, that's how fortunate you can become if you follow my advice. And these are all typical scams, man. Like, but let's move on. We're only, what are we? We're only about fucking 3/5 into the video.
After investing $40,000 of his hard-earned savings, Alex Dunbar waited for Barter Coin to launch, when Rob Tidy showed up at the Coachella Music Festival with predictions of where these 5-cent...
Okay, it's good that I paused it this time because it gives us time to read the actual it looks like a Facebook post. And we'll get onto that in a second, but he's actually... Coachella, if I understand what Coachella is a music festival for not only millennials, but also the 90s crowd who, you know, I grew up in the 90s era where you started to discover music and next thing you know, Nirvana are just fucking exploding onto the scene and you've got all Pearl Jam and fucking Soundgarden, all that awesome music. And so you've got those people who are on the forefront of technology, because that's when technology started to come in, you know, with the World Wide Web and all that back in 1991 and 1992. And so you've got these technological savvy people, young people who are starting to get in this new cool trend of all sorts of different internet type related activities. Now, if you read what he says in this Barter Coin Coachella fucking post, I can already assume that if anybody wants to buy a mint condition enter key, just hit up Rob Tidy, because it seems that his has never been used. So if you do need a mint condition enter key for your keyboard, then hit up Rob Tidy. I also noticed that he uses commas in space of enter keys and full stops, which I think in America you guys call them periods. So if you do need a period button, which is located to the left of the question mark / button, if you ever need a full stop button that works still, if yours is broken and you need one that works still, then Rob Tidy could hook you up for probably the grand price of $1 million. However, if you need a full stop key or a period key, mate, that's a low price when it comes to what Rob Tidy says. But let's see what he says in this Facebook comment. It's exciting time. Yeah, exciting. Yeah, getting everyone revved up. Oh, you're asking a favour, are you? Oh, if it's exciting times, why are you asking for a favour? Surely your business should be going well. Why do you need favours off investors? Oh, okay. Yesterday, a large parcel traded at $20, but then soon traded back down to $5. Can you give us evidence of that and the reason why that would be? Was it just hype? And then you realise that, oh fuck, people aren't hyped up anymore and they've lost interest and now they've sold it all and it's back down to $5? Because that's probably what happened, Rob. I can't stress enough. Yeah, so appealing to the emotions. Okay, now he's blaming other people by restraining from placing silly orders. Okay, so it should trade back. So you're getting people's hopes up if people don't be silly. Again, blaming other people for your, mistakes. Okay, you've got a lot of news coming, but that will really hot things up. That sort of doesn't, I think you mean heat things up? Yeah, anyway. Guys, this next to, okay, so you're basically pushing like, please invest more, please invest more. You fucking amateur. If you're going to scam people, man, you got to be better than this. It's easy to fucking scam people as being a bookie on the side of the racetrack and just taking idiots' money. But when you're talking about people like this, you got to be a bit smarter than it is. The first dealer sold exotic car in Oz this week, so a lot is happening, just be patient. Dude, that is the most grammatical and just stupid sentence. You've even capitalized exotic car just to push the, it's like, oh my god, maybe I could get an exotic car in the future too if I keep reinvesting. Fuck, me dead.
Coins could get to.
It should trade back up over $20 if people don't be silly.
Then there was just this rumour about a hostile takeover. Directors or managers were trying to take over the coin from him and they're trying to sabotage his vision.
Okay, so he's inventing the bad guy. So he's inventing the bad guy because what it does is it deflects any responsibility from him onto these supposed bad guys, right? So, in other words, it's another way of saying oh, sorry guys, it's not my fault. It's those guys' fault. So you're just deflecting the blame. Okay, good on you, Rob. This is amateur shit, bro. You got to be better at this shit if you want to succeed at manipulating and conning people, you fucking clown.
Is a regular occurrence with many schemes Robert Tidy is involved in. Just when about to launch, a business partner does something that scuttles the whole thing.
Sorry, I've just got it. This is the most obnoxious shit I've ever heard. Like, look, you can be great at poker and all that sort of shit, and you can gamble your money, that's fine. If you're good at poker and you win, then, well, you're just good at your game. I mean, no one calls out football players for winning a game because, oh, they were just scamming people. If you're good at poker and you're good at poker, then that's fine. You win. You're better than everyone else. You're the top of your game. But when you start putting fake diamond stud bullshit, you know, as, oh, look how much money I won, well, then you just become an obnoxious prick. But let's see.
When about to launch, a business partner does something.
See, look at that. Thick ass gold chain, thick ass. Seriously, do you really need that shit? Like, that's great, but this isn't going to last forever. So, do you want to maybe invest not like money in not gold chains and Rolex or whatever the fuck watch that is with diamonds, but do you want to invest it in long-term stuff like a place to house your family? Because let's be honest, this scam isn't going to last forever. But I am also being honest when I say they're not expecting it to last forever. They're showing off this gold and diamonds because they want people to think that they can get gold and diamond in the future. Sorry, still got hiccups.
That scuttles the whole thing.
I admit there was people in Barter Coin that should never have been sold.
Like, as if everyone? Is that who you mean?
But it wasn't me selling them.
We caught up with Robert Tidy at the Hilton Hotel in Sydney.
What happened to their money?
I walked out of Barter Coin. I was never, ever, ever a signature. I was never a director. I was nothing.
Initial documents listed Robert Tidy as CEO of Barter Coin, but he would later claim to be only its founder.
Sorry, I just saw it. Robert Tidy was one of the first to admit about bullshit. I need proof for that. God, he's using the sympathy. He's using not sympathy. He's using the technique of, oh, it's way too volatile, which is sort of weird because mine has gone up, even though it's gone up and down in the past fucking, I don't know, 2 years. Corona's really fucked my timeline, especially working from home and studying from home. It's fucked my timeline. People ask me like what year it is. I'm like, I think it's 2020. Anyway, but he's saying that Bitcoin is still way too volatile. That's fucking weird, because as of 2 years ago, I'm still up over 300% on my original investment. So yeah, way too volatile. It might drop and go up day by day, but that's just how the stock market and cryptocurrency market works. So he's using strong words. Volatile is a strong word, you know, and it's a word that gets bandied around in the media a lot. And the media are fucking idiots when it comes to long-term strategies. Not strategy. It's not even a strategy. It's something that you keep so you can use whenever you want. I pulled out thousands of dollars from crypto to pay for family lawyers because of the separation that I've told some of you about. I wouldn't have those thousands of dollars if my crypto hadn't gone up over the past few years. I wouldn't have those. It'd be sitting in a bank earning 0.5 or 0.1% interest. 0.1, not 1% interest, 0.1, motherfuckers. I wouldn't have those thousands of dollars to pay my lawyers And it's also corporate lawyers as well that have to pay because we've got a startup business. And corporate lawyers are not fucking cheap. Tell ya. Jesus. Anyway.
CEO of Barter Coin, but he would later claim to be only its founder.
My impression was that he was definitely running the show. Yeah. He claims everything is his and mine and all these sorts of words. Then he tries to say that he's not a director and that he's got no involvement in the control or the management of the company.
How many
So, I don't know this guy's name that's wearing the same outfit that the interviewer is wearing, but, mate, let's be honest. All you read were words on a web page, mate. Did you even do your due diligence and, like, look up where this guy came from or his experience in the market or anything like that? Because he was a fucking bookie in a previous life. And you know, I've said what bookies are like. Bookies are not there to hand you money and hope that you have a good day. Alright? It pains them to hand money to winners. That's what bookies are there for. To make fucking money. Not make you money, make themselves money.
He's not a director and that he's got no involvement in the control or the management of the company.
How many millions were lost in Barter Coin?
I have no idea, to be quite honest.
$5 million worth.
There
Was that how much?
There's 1.3.
In this email in July 2000,
Don't have any idea, to be honest, but yeah, no, maybe 1.3. That's a pretty specific number when it comes to millions, but he has no idea. But yeah, 1.3. So what's this dickhead saying today? So today my media. So who's this from? Okay, so it's from Rob Tidy, this bald, grey-haired or white-haired fucking guy, and it was 4 years ago. 4 years and 4 days. Yeah, righto. Alright. So today my media. See, even see, this is an email to all his investors, right? So he starts it off with, so today via my mediator, blah 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 blah, and then next is, thank God this now looks like finishing. Below is a draft for the deal. I'm not even going to read the rest of this fucking email, because in the first two paragraphs, and they're only short, in the first two paragraphs, you've already displayed your unprofessionalism. You didn't even say, hello investors, or anything like that. First of all, you started a sentence with so, which is just unprofessional. And then you said, thank God this now looks like finishing. So in other words, you're still trying to convince people that their investment is secure and it's going to go up soon. I'm not even going to bother to read the rest of the... You guys can read it if you want and laugh at it as you will. I'm not going to waste my fucking time with this bullshit.
2018, Robert Tidy informed investors of 5 million in paid coins in Australia and another 5 million worth of Trinidad dollars overseas.
Barter Coin was a token. It was early doors. It got to $17 on an exchange.
Right, $17.
It was listed. It got to $17.
What's it worth now?
Who knows? It's still listed. But
Barter Coin is still listed with a current value of 0.1.
Oh, how much did you cash out before it fucking dropped, son? Because this is your typical scam. This is your typical cryptocurrency scam. They push an agenda that they want, and then when the well starts to dry, that's when they cash out, and that's when they're like bang, and they leave everyone holding their coins, which are dropping dramatically. And now you might think like, well, I've seen this before. You see, the thing is though, you've got all these people who look at it like it's a long-term investment, which it should be. But you've got a lot of other people who look at it like, I can make quick cash. Now, the thing is, they sucker other people in to thinking, I can make quick cash too. Now, I can understand why some people may think it's a Ponzi scheme. But the thing is it's only a Ponzi scheme in these situations. When you're talking about distributed peer-to-peer cryptos like Bitcoin and Ethereum, that's not a Ponzi scheme, right? There's no scam going on there. It's a long-term established cryptocurrency. When you're talking about fucking, what is it, Barter Coin, yeah, people are in it for the quick riches and fuck everyone else. They don't care. That's why they're standing up there on the stage talking to you about how you should invest, and then getting some dude to walk in with a fucking stack full of cash. Like I said, why the fuck is anybody walking in to a digital currency forum and putting on the table a stack of cash when they could easily put it forward digitally? Why? That should be your first red flag. Actually, that should probably be your fifth. There's a lot of red flags before you get to that point where you've paid for a seminar and then you see someone walk in with a stack of cash ready to invest. That's probably the 5th or the 10th or the 15th fucking red flag that you should have seen by now, and you didn't. So unfortunately, I have no sympathy for you, because you're the sort of person who believes anything they hear and then complain that they fell for a scam. Right, halfway through the video, let's go.
Of 1 cent. The highest selling price listed that we could find was $4, with a volume of just over $200.
As an investor, we were never told at any stage that it had ever launched.
Do diligence. You are entrusting your money with someone you don't fucking know. How have you not done some research and some background into what this is and who they are? You are a fucking sucker, and you don't deserve to be on TV. Actually, no, you sort of do. But the thing is, the people that watch this show are the sort of people who, oh yeah, but maybe the next scam will be better and I'll make heaps of cash. That's the sort of people who watch this show. And this is why I said in the beginning that this sort of show is it's just a sucker for people who are suckers. That's what it is, man. It's not journalism. It's just pandering to the fucking morons.
Everyone a full refund, not a part refund, not 90% refund. Do you know that?
A full refund of what? Cash?
Every single
or
person
tokens?
cash.
That's not true.
No, in Trinidad.
Yep, it's true. The Trinidad investors did get most of their money back, but whether Rob Tidy arranged that is in dispute. The Australian investors we've spoken to, however, received no cash, simply getting rolled over into a new project called Zip It.
I would argue that the reason why the Trinidad people got their money back is because he paid them to spruik their profit as proof to other people. So those people would see those comments and say, oh fuck, those people earn heaps, so yeah, maybe I'll earn heaps. But what I will argue in that debate is that Australian rules when it comes to investing and other sorts of gambling, and we have strict regulations, so people don't get scammed like this. Whereas, and I'm going to assume here, Trinidad Tobago probably doesn't have as stricter rules when it comes to gambling or investing and you getting ripped off. And so it's easy to tell people, oh, just tell them that you made this amount of money, and therefore the Australian people will look at that video testimonials and say, oh, well, shit, maybe I could earn that money too. Whereas there's a whole different system of governance and regulation between Trinidad Tobago and our country, Australia. That's the angle that I think that he was using, and I could be wrong. There could be another angle, and if there is, well, he's smarter than I think he is, but that's what I think he's doing.
What is it?
This video explainer is full of buzzwords and ambitious goals.
Zip It aims to bridge the gap between our current financial systems and the systems being built for the future.
Investors in that new venture.
Okay. So can you explain what these systems are in the future? Because as far as I know, if the systems in the future haven't been invented yet, how can you connect the current systems to the future system? So explain to me what the future systems are and how they connect to each other. And then I might be satisfied, but at the moment, I can't imagine, and I'm pretty sure no one else can imagine, even the people designing this system can't imagine, what the future systems will be, unless you describe to us what these future systems are. Until then, it's just speculation and pie in the sky.
Confronted Robert Tidy in a Zoom call earlier this year while he was hospitalised with COVID.
Well, I can't do that, mate, because you can't see. I'm in hospital, I've got double pneumonia. What, again?
Double pneumonia? I'm not a medical practitioner, but it seems like the house of cards is falling down around him and he's using an excuse to sucker more people out of money with sympathy. If anyone can explain in the comments like what double pneumonia is, I understand that it may be an infection of the lungs, but double pneumonia, what's that like? It's not just one lung, it's the other lung as well. I don't actually know, but like I said, I'm not a medical practitioner, so I'm not saying he's bullshitting, but he's bullshitted enough before in the past that makes me think it's a good chance he's bullshitting now.
I think I must speak to him. Okay.
He's in pain. Can you guys just leave him alone? Like, I know you want your money back and stuff like that. Let me rewind it. Like, you guys really need to respect the fact that he's in a lot of pain. And as much as he wants to give you your scam money back, just respect the fact that he's dealing with double pneumonia now. And it's really disrespectful that you guys treat him like the way you're doing at the moment.
I think I must speak to him. Okay.
Just like Barter Coin investors, the launch date of this new Zipit coin was their pressing concern.
So when is this new project launching? That's launched. It's launched.
A few minutes later, it hadn't launched.
It launches on the 1st of July, at the latest. But you just said it's launched.
July 1 passed and still none of the various Zipit coins have ever launched.
Rob, the Zipit coins are worth nothing.
But as I said, that's your opinion.
Well, what are...
That's the shittest argument, man. I hear a lot of people use that excuse, Rob. But the thing is, he's actually giving you facts. It's not his opinion. He's giving you facts, mate. It hasn't launched yet. That's official. It's not your opinion at all. It's the fact.
What are they worth? You tell me.
Well, that's up to you to decide.
It's not up to me. They're either worth something or they're not.
Many of the people investing in Robert Tidy's new ventures are unaware of his history of bankruptcy.
How many times have you been bankrupt, Rob?
No, once that went through. There was, to the best of my knowledge, there was one that was annulled and one that went right through its term.
Records show that Robert Colin Tidy has filed for bankruptcy 3 times. In 2001, it was annulled, but in 2007 and 2018, it lasted the full 3-year term.
Donald Trump was bankrupt 6 times, was?
I wouldn't say 6 times. As far as I know, he's been bankrupt twice and then refunded by his father. I can't say for certain that it was 2 times. It could be more. However, I'm pretty sure that it wasn't 6 times. But let's hear what else you have to say, Rob. You fucking scamming cunt.
Isn't it?
You're up to what, 3?
No, but even if it is 3...
You've only got 3 more to go to match the Donald.
But so what? I'm just saying to you, people go bankrupt every day.
But how...
People go through bankruptcy every day. Do they, Rob? Do they? I mean, I know some people like you may, but let's be honest. It's the same as pedos and fucking terrorists and fucking... Most people live their lives day in, day out without ever being accused of being a terrorist or a rapist or a murderer or a child molester or being bankrupt. Most people don't go through their lives ever being accused of that. And so I'm going to rewind it just for effect. Let's listen to what he says again.
What? I'm just saying to you, people go bankrupt every day.
But how many bankrupts live like this? Within weeks of his 2018 bankruptcy beginning, Rob Tidy was on a first-class flight to Dubai, filming it all and posting it to social media.
Well, you were flying around the world when you were bankrupt.
For business. I didn't get paid away.
I don't know what business a bankrupt does, but I don't know any other bankrupts who can afford to fly first class Emirates.
Okay, so even... Oh, no, I didn't. That was points.
His Instagram account is filled with his first...
Now, if I'm not mistaken, you earn points by flying and by spending. Now, if you're going to accrue that many points that you can fly from Sydney or Perth, or let's just say Australia, if you can fly from Australia to Dubai just on points, then you must have spent a fuck ton of money on other things to accrue that many points to fly halfway around the fucking world. So your excuse, Rob, is bullshit.
Class mementos, not only inside planes, but also 5-star hotels like the Waldorf Astoria in Los Angeles.
It's a bit pretty.
His girlfriend Ariana has been a regular...
She's quite young for an older gentleman. I'm going to guess that Rob's about 55. Now, this chick looks about, at the most, 28. At the most. And I'm going to assume, unfairly, that there's a reason why Rob is partners with this female. And it's not because he's got the good looks and she loves bald heads with grey, biky moustaches and beards. But maybe she'll give us an insight into the attractiveness of Rob. And if I feel like it's got to do with money, well then, colour me surprised.
Addition to Rob Tidy's latest international adventures.
First time in Vegas.
Catching limos in Las Vegas and tossing a coin for good luck in Rome's Trevi Fountain. In Malta, a hotel room table is filled with designer watches and blocks of cash.
But do you see why these investors are angry, Rob? They've got nothing, and you're flying around first class and staying in 5-star hotels.
But hold on, I don't fly around, I fly around business class.
When it was first happening, I'm like, where's this money coming from? I hope it's not the investment money, you know.
Tanya Pickering is in additional pain, believing Rob Tidy that other parties caused Barter Coin to fail. She says she was then convinced to invest more money in his next venture.
Tanya, you're a fucking moron. You just follow the fucking money, hoping that you'll... This is what you do. This is what you people do. You follow a rich person down the street, hoping they'll drop hundreds of dollars out of their fucking wallet while they're getting thousands out to pay for whatever. And it's like, they'll turn around and think, it's just a few $100. Who cares? And then you're sitting there, walking past, picking up the scraps, just going like, oh, I got $300 off him today. That's what you are. You're a fucking idiot who thinks that you're getting the fucking scraps from a billionaire. You're a fucking moron.
He suggested using our super.
Holy shit. Okay. So for those that are unaware, from other countries, mainly America, what we have in Australia is a system called superannuation. And forgive me if you have this in America as well. But what it is basically the government mandates that you, when you work like a job, 9%, it can be up to 12%, but it's mainly 9% of your income goes to your superannuation, right? And I'll explain what superannuation is in a second, and I'll make it really quick. and I won't even break out the sock puppets or the hand puppets, because it's very simple to understand. So you get taxed between 9 and 30% depending on your income. So the lowest is 9, but if you earn like over 200 or 300 grand a year, you'll get charged 30 or 33%, right? So higher tax bracket pays more tax. Lower tax bracket pays less tax, but they're still paying tax. But everybody pays between 9 and 12% of superannuation to their funds, to their superannuation funds. And what that does is it's a bank account that invests your money, and you can't spend that money until you're 65. Or in extreme circumstances, you may need to, like if you end up in the hospital being a paraplegic, you could access that money because you need it to live. But if you're just living your life every day as a normal citizen, you can't access that superannuation money until you're I think the current rate is 70 or 75, because that's the age that you retire at. And you can, so the 9% of all your earnings over your lifetime of working, that 9% adds up to a shitload of money. So when you're retired at the age of 75, you have money to spend as savings that's been invested in various different investment funds. So it's earning interest and all that. And so when you retire, you can use that money so you don't have to rely on the government to give you the old age pension or retirement pension or whatever. It's an alleviation of the government's responsibility, because they're making you save that money until you're retired, and you can use that money until you die. Okay? And if you run out of that money, the government will make you prove where you spent that money, but also they'll, like, you might spend it all in 1 week. You know, oh, I've got fucking $2 million in superannuation and I went to the casino and I blew it. They won't fucking give you the pension for that, right? But if you're living day to day, spending that money, and you run out, you've got a reasonable excuse. And so you're like, well, I can't live, I've only got 20 grand in superannuation, so it's run out after half a year because I have to buy groceries and stuff like that. And, you know, and so that's fair enough. But if you're sitting there blowing your fucking $2 million superannuation in the casino, the government's not going to give you money because you're an irresponsible prick and you can't be trusted with money. Anyway, let's see what fucking thoughts of insight bloody Tanya has to say next.
So I got my super out before I knew it. I transferred over to him all my super.
What would you call...
Tanya, you're a fucking moron. And I'm not saying you deserve to be scammed, but let's be honest, you can't be trusted with money. Let's be honest, you cannot be trusted with money.
Yourself a moral person, Rob?
100%.
His morals and my morals are obviously from different planets.
Robert Tidy claims proof of his morals is that he offered free tokens to the burnt Barter Coin investors and never asked for more cash.
I'm saying we lost. Here's a chance at the next one. I don't want any money from you. I didn't ask people to say, listen, you've lost in that, you've got to put money in this one. I never did that.
I was from Barter Coin and I put all my super into Zipit.
Was he concerned at all about you taking money from your super to invest in this? What was he saying?
Not at all. He was encouraging people to take super.
Oh, so he was encouraging you to spend more money even though you'd lost heaps and you still didn't learn your lesson, so you just invested more, hoping you'd get it back. This is exactly like the fucking gamblers, man, in Las Vegas. It's like, oh, I'm down $2,000, but I'll win it back though if I just keep playing more. Seriously? No words, man. No fucking words.
Robert Tidy lives in properties owned by his widowed mother, including this apartment at Tweed Heads. He was back in Sydney just days before final settlement on his mother's sale of the family home at Coogee for $12 million. He claims his elderly mother has been hassled by people pursuing money from him.
How do you feel about that your mum gets hassled for money you owe?
Because, no, I don't know one thing. Let's get something straight. In Barter Coin...
Well, for debts that they're chasing, they end up chasing your mum. How do you feel about that?
There is no debt. Let me explain
There's
to you
a lot of debts, Rob.
Let me explain to you Barter
You've had a
Coin.
lot of debts. You've had so many debts you've gone bankrupt twice.
So he's been confronted with like issues, serious issues. People have lost a lot of money, and all he wants to do is explain Barter Coin. It's like he's trying to convince the new crew of recipients or suckers, as you would call it, to try and invest in what it's like he's reverting to his old methods of I know it's not a scam, let me tell you about it, and hoping that would convince people that it's not a scam. Oh man, this guy's deep into the fucking rabbit hole of scams.
But you keep bringing up bankruptcy.
Well, that's a serious thing.
Business.
What would you say to people thinking of investing with Robert Tidy?
Run. And do not ever invest with Rob Tidy.
I just want to make sure that he doesn't fool anyone else from now on, because he's still doing it today. He's still convincing people.
Dude, I don't care if your glasses say Versace. I don't give a fuck what glasses you wear. But if you're wearing those glasses, I don't give a shit if they say Versace. They're still ugly as fuck. And I'm no fucking fashion, expert. But holy fuck. If anybody else had made those glasses without the Versace name on them, people would be looking at you going, what's that bullshit, mate, you're wearing? Those fucking stupid wraparounds. But no, you slap a Versace logo on it, and all of a sudden you're a fucking kingpin of fashion.
That's what he's good at, is convincing.
If a quarter of what I say is true, then aren't I the victim? Am I the victim?
Oh, now he's going for the whole victim complex. Yeah, good on you, Rob. That's the low-level manipulation, man. If you want to scam people, you're going to get better at manipulating people than trying to claim that you're the victim, you dickhead. This is low-level shit, bro.
Tidy has since
Sorry,
emailed...
I accidentally muted it then.
Robert Tidy has since emailed investors in his latest venture to inform them he is now retiring from the project. We're also sorting through a pile of emails from previous investors. If you're one of them, contact us.
Yeah, so basically Robert is just going to do the Phoenix thing and just close down his current business and then probably register it in another name and then scam more people, because he's been scamming people since day one. Why do you think he was a fucking horse racing bookie in the beginning? And like I said before, because bookies aren't there to keep you happy and you making money, because 10% of their people, 10% of their victims win money. 90% of them win money for the bookie, because it's a sucker's game. That's what gambling is. But let's see what else in the last 10 seconds. Nothing. Alright, bullshit.